The controversial Chinese tracking vessel Yuan Wang 5 has docked at Sri Lanka's Hambantota Port despite security concerns raised by India. The development came just days after Sri Lanka's nod granting permission for the Chinese research vessel to visit the island. Now, according to reports, the ship has been allowed to dock for 6 days, and that too on the condition that it won't out any research work while in Sri Lankan waters. The Chinese vessel was originally due to arrive last week, but Colombo asked Beijing to postpone their arrival following objections by India and the United States. China has warned of any third-party interference into what it calls the research activities of the vessel. China claims the Yuan Wang 5 has been docked at Hambantota for marine research tasks.
The marine research activities of the Yuan Wang 5 scientific research vessel are in line with international law and international practice and do not affect any country's security or economic interests. They should not be interfered with by third parties.
New Delhi has alleged that the vessel is capable of snooping. The vessel has an aerial reach of more than 750 kilometers. With this, Beijing can monitor movement in as many as 6 South Indian ports. It is also important to understand that the vessel is no ordinary ship. The Yuan Wang 5 is an 11,000-ton capacity vessel. It is a space satellite tracker ship which has a distinct role in missile and satellite tracking. The Hambantota Port is run by China, which Sri Lanka leased it for 99 years for $1.12 billion. India has repeatedly expressed concerns that China might use the port as a military base to increase its presence in the Indian Ocean. The brewing tensions over the Chinese vessel come at a time as Sri Lanka continues to witness a worsening economic meltdown. Both China and India have tried to expand their sphere of influence in the island nation amid the ongoing crisis. India has provided more help to Sri Lanka this year than any other nation in terms of military aid. India has also gifted Sri Lanka a Dornier Tu-28 surveillance aircraft recently in a bid to bolster the island's maritime surveillance capabilities.
No rupee revenue, and now we have to print another trillion rupees.
My colleague Priyanka Sharma, Siddhant Sibal from New Delhi and Dasunia Thauda from Colombo are tracking all the latest developments in this big story. I will start with Priyanka Sharma to explain to us what this means for India.
The Chinese research and survey vessel Yuan Wang 5 has docked at Sri Lanka's Hambantota Port. It had departed China's Jiangyin on July 13th, and according to open source maritime data, the alleged spy ship changed its track at least 3 times last week before it reached the Hambantota Port. So let's now first get you some details of this vessel. The 25,000-ton Yuan Wang 5 is the 3rd generation tracking ship of the Yuan Wang series. It was manufactured in the Jiangnan shipyard and has been in service since September 2007. It is 222 meters in length and about 25.2 meters wide. So why is it called the spy ship? That's because it has a very strong missile tracking system and is equipped with parabolic tracking antennas and sensors. It has the ability to track intercontinental ballistic missiles, rockets and satellites in space. According to US Defense Department reports, these kinds of ships are operated by the Strategic Support Force of China's People's Liberation Army, which essentially provides assistance with information on space, cyber technology, communication, and even psychological warfare. Let's get you some more details now. The Chinese vessel at the Hambantota Port is a major cause of concern for India, and rightfully so. This is because the vessel has a range of 750 kilometers. The Yuan Wang 5 can allegedly snoop on Indian installations in the region. It can also track the Indian Space Research Organization's base at Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh, along with the Kalpakkam and Kudankulam nuclear power plants in Tamil Nadu. Other Indian installations in the Deccan can also be tracked by this ship.
And now our correspondent Dasunia Thauda has sent us this report from Colombo, Sri Lanka.
Despite concerns from countries like India and the United States, the Chinese military vessel Yuan Wang 5 was docked at the Hambantota Port this morning. Initially, the Sri Lankan government deferred its entry a few weeks ago. Nevertheless, has now allowed for this military vessel to be docked at the Hambantota Port purely for replenishment activities. Also, Sri Lanka's Ministry of Defence has made it very clear that they had requested the Chinese military vessel to prevent from any and all research activities during its week-long stay here at the Hambantota Port. Stay with WION as we track the very latest developments. Reporting from Colombo, I'm Dasunia Powder.
And also, our principal diplomatic correspondent Sidhan Sibal has sent us this report from New Delhi.
Chinese spy vessel Yuan Wang 5 has docked at the Hambantota Port in Sri Lanka, a matter of concern for New Delhi. New Delhi has raised its concerns with Colombo in past few weeks, and we saw Colombo deferring the visit but later on giving approval, and we saw the vessel, of course, docking. But largely the view from New Delhi is that it is taking note of all the developments that have a bearing on its security and economic interest and will take necessary actions. The development, of course, comes at a time when we know that Sri Lanka is undergoing an economic crisis and India has emerged as an important supporter, providing a support of almost $4 billion US. So from New Delhi, the view is it's up to Sri Lanka to, of course, take care of India's concerns, but of course it's up to Sri Lanka as well to carefully balance its relationship with China. With video journalist Sanjeet Sidhansibal for WION in New Delhi.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.